Tune in and ignite your day with Daily Spark with Dr. Angela, where inspiration meets faith.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me for Daily Spark with Dr. Angela. I'm your host, Dr. Angela Butch-Chester. You guys know who I am, and you know what I like to do on my show. Say it with me. I want to enlighten, inspire, and empower you to become your best self. Now, Scripture reminds us that the tongue is a small thing that makes grand speeches, but a tiny spark can set a great forest on fire. And that's what we want to do today. We want to get you fired up about my guest. I'll be spending time today with Joan Fields Long, and we'll be talking about her book, Depart from Evil. So you know what I'm going to tell you to do? Go on, get comfy, get cozy, get your coffee or get your tea, because we are about to get started. Hello, Mrs. Long. Thank you so much for joining me here on Daily Spark with Dr. Angela.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to talk with you.
Yes, ma'am. I am so glad that you are here today. Now, we do have a little bit of a tradition here on the show. We realize that there may be some people listening in that are unfamiliar with you or unfamiliar with your work. So first question is, tell us a little bit about yourself. What makes you you?
Okay. I'll tell you, I am 94 years old now. I wasn't when I wrote the book, but I'll just tell you a little bit about me. I grew up on a farm in Randolph County, North Carolina. I graduated from Randleman High School as salutatorian of the class of 1949. I was married to Cecil Long for 62 years before he passed away. I'm the mother of two children, a girl and a boy, and I studied writing under author Manly Wade Wellman at the University of North Carolina.
So thank you. Thank you so much for that. Now, when it comes to being an author, was that something on your to-do list, or was this another way to share with the public?
Well, I always liked to write. Even in school, I liked the English classes, you know, and I have written many plays and skits and things like that for church and for when my daughter was in school and my son too. I would write things for their teachers. You know, and little plays and stuff like that. But after my husband had passed away, I decided that I was going to write a book. And so I did. I wrote, first of all, I wrote Daisy's Hope for Her Journey, and then I wrote Depart from Evil, and I had them self-published. And I just always have liked to write.
Miss Joan, let me ask you about the inspiration about writing the book. So many people, other interviews that I have done with authors, they say that there has been a nudge, a knowing, if you will, that now is the time to write the book. Now, I realize that you didn't write the book last year, but when you were in that writer's mode, did you know that now is the time? How did you know that it was time to write this book?
Well, it was my second book that I had written, and there's a dog in this book, and we had had a new pastor to come to our church that had a dog that was strange, and I think that's really uh, why maybe just came into my head to write a book. But there is a dog in the book, and these other people, the people that came to be in our community, their dog was a strange dog.
It's so funny because animals do have a way of making an impact on us. We remember the really beautiful pets of others, but we also remember, we remember the good boys, but we also remember the bad boys, those mean old dogs too. So you are so right. Animals really do make an impression upon us. I love that. Now, when you were in the process of writing, I find that uh, every character in a book has a particular personality, and I love how authors are able to use their creative mind to give that personality to each character. How did you come about creating the personalities of your characters?
Well, it just came into my head while I was writing.
Mhm.
I don't consider myself to be, a really great writer or anything like that. But I just I don't know how to answer that hardly, because I just started. I was in a Christian writers group, and we had to write something every month and read it. And so that's one thing that inspired me to get busy and uh, write books.
Mhm. Oh, I love that. And I kind of understand what you mean. For so many of the things that we do, it isn't that we are trying to create something new. It's that we already understand what we have to do. And it sounds like the characters weren't something that you were sitting in the corner one day saying, "Let me see. Okay, so this woman needs to do this and do that." And you were simply writing what was in your writer's heart, what was in your author's mind, and you wrote what you saw or what came to you. And it simply was that simple. It wasn't hard. It wasn't a hard work to come up with the people. You just simply wrote what was there. And I love that. The the simplicity of it coming together. I find sometimes when we have to work too hard at something, we're going in the wrong direction. Like we're
Mm-hmm.
forcing, like we might be forcing something to happen. But when it comes to us, then sometimes it comes to us easily because that's what's proper and true for us at that time. So
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I love that. Now, would you say that this is the type of book that would also be okay for a women's book club? I find that that's starting to take off more and more, that we're starting to come together and say, what's a really good book for us to read? Would you say book club, or is this more of an individual person read?
I think it'd be more of an individual
Yes, ma'am.
person, and I think by the title of it, it might, help uh, someone to think, "Oh, I'd like to read that."
Mhm. Absolutely. And thank you for that answer because I find that there's nothing worse than reading the wrong book in book club. Um, so we really do need to make sure that we are reading the right book. If it's more of a personal read, then that's great to know. This is a book that's for me when I'm traveling. I can read it during the layovers. So many people perhaps take the train or the shuttle into work, if they perhaps live in the suburbs and they work in the city, many times you take the shuttle, and it's a great thing to kind of keep your mind occupied on those individual little trips that you have to make. So thank you for that clarification. Now, I want to ask, when you were thinking about the message that you wanted to share, how did you come to that determination? How did you decide what little nuggets of wisdom to share along the pages of the book?
Well, it's hard to put into words, I think, but once I got started writing, it just came to me. I didn't ask anybody or anything like that, but I did belong to that writers group, and I would read. I'd try to, be ready to read a whole chapter to them each time, and they critiqued it sort of, and most of them liked it very well.
Mhm. Mhm. Oh, that must have been both exciting and a little bit nervous at the same time to not the reading aloud part, but just having the critique and hoping that they were able to get the little points that you were trying to make along the storyline. So, that must have been exciting. I love it. I love it. Well, Miss Joan, it is time for us to take a very short break, but don't you go anywhere, and we don't want you, listeners, don't you go anywhere either. We're going to take a short break. Now, don't forget, this book is available on Amazon and wherever books are sold. We'll be back right after this.
Hi everyone, Dr. Angela here. Did you know that Daily Spark is now on Facebook? That's right, you can visit with me at facebook.com/Daily Spark with Dr. Angela. I want to know more about what you're thinking. I'd love to know which interview did you find the most entertaining or the most informative. I want to talk to you, and I want you to be able to talk to me. Simply visit facebook.com/Daily Spark with Dr. Angela. The Power of She, encouraging women to embrace their strengths. The Power of She, encouraging women to embrace their strengths, is an inspiring self-help book that aims to empower women to unlock their full potential and live their best lives. This book is written by pastoral counselor, empowerment coach, Dr. Angela Butch-Chester, who has extensive experience in coaching and mentoring women. This book is filled with powerful insights, examples of women who have overcome obstacles and achieved great success in their personal and professional lives. It covers a range of topics, including building self-confidence and self-esteem, setting and achieving goals, cultivating a positive mindset, a review of women's empowerment over the years, and issues affecting women and their growth. The Power of She, encouraging women to embrace their strengths, is a must-read for any woman who wants to unlock her full potential and live a fulfilling life. It is a powerful reminder that every woman has the strength and resilience to overcome challenges and achieve great things. The Power of She, encouraging women to embrace their strengths, available at drangela.chester.com and, of course, on Amazon or wherever books are sold.
Discovery. No, just a sec.
What would it look like if we listened more? Could the right voice, the right set of words, bring us all just a little closer? Get us to open up, even push us further? It could, if we took the time to listen. The most inspiring minds, the most compelling stories. Download Audible and listen for a change.
And we are back. Thank you, everyone, for joining me for Daily Spark with Dr. Angela. I'm your host, Dr. Angela Butts Chester. Now, I am speaking with author Joan Fields Long today about her book, Depart from Evil. Now, Miss Joan, I love that you have written this book for us to read in our own independent time. I love that. I am a busy person, and I always don't get to enjoy the book club experience, but I do enjoy a book that I can read, like I said before, on my layovers or in between when I have just a little bit of downtime. So thank you for including or thinking about folks like me. Now, I understand that writers sometimes experience writer's block, or perhaps they come to a point in the book where that section might be a little harder to write for whatever reason than another. I want to ask you about the challenges. Do you remember having any challenging parts in the book for you to write for whatever reason? Did you have any, what were the hardest parts to write and what were the easiest parts to write?
Well, I don't know how to answer that hardly. I didn't write it, sit down and write it all at once. I would, in the writers club that I was in, I had to write something, every month, and I would just really, concentrate on reading making a chapter to read at my meetings, and so it took me a while to do it, to write the book, because I, would not just sit down and write the whole thing at once. So anyway,
right.
And I don't know. I think the Lord Jesus Christ gave me the inspiration to write the book.
Yes, I can definitely understand what you're saying. So it wasn't like what we think of as a traditional novel being written, someone at the typewriter just banging away on the keys trying to write this, 200-page novel and with this intensity, where you were able to take your time because it was write this chapter for the presentation, and you had a little bit more leisure in the time. I love that, and perhaps that's why there weren't those challenges there. Unfortunately, we still hear about people trying to write a book in such a short period of time, due to the deadlines of the publishing companies and so forth, and it really does put a stress on them. I'm glad that you didn't have to deal with that.
That's
Now,
right.
yes, ma'am. Now, when you were putting it all together and you decided that you were going to present it in book form to us as the general public, not as your readers club, did you find that you omitted any parts? Were there any bits and pieces that your book club were only privy to, or did you give us the entirety of what you wrote?
I think they always, encouraged me to keep writing, and they would like the, the next chapter. and I wrote in shorthand. I mean, I just wrote it with a pen, and then I had this friend of mine to type it, because I'm not the best typist in the world, but I did it by hand, writing.
Oh, and I love that. That is many of our writers today have no idea what it's like to write a book longhand, to have pen to paper and to write it literally to write it out as opposed to doing it on their laptop or doing it on their phone. So I love that's a little bit of trivia that we now know about the book, that it was originally written longhand and then it was typed and then presented. I love that. So when you were in the process of deciding on the cover of the book, did you have something in your mind's eye of what you wanted the cover to look like? Or would you say that that was more a collaborative effort of the team to determine what the cover of the book would look like?
Well, the publisher gave me some different pictures to look at, and a lot of this story is on a farm, and so that's why I chose a barn, and yeah.
That farm motif, that feeling of being on the farm. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, a lot of it is about the farm. Happens on the farm, and I have characters that are running the farm. And anyway, the publisher let me choose one of the pictures, so so I did. It has a barn on it, a red barn.
And I think that even if one happens to be a city kid, when you think of farm, we all think of that traditional red barn. Now, I think if you live on the East Coast, or if you live in the Midwest, and you would ever go on summer vacation or summer travels, then you probably have seen a barn or two in your life, going from city to city. And it's interesting that barns can come in different colors. That beautiful red color that we're used to. Sometimes they're brown. Sometimes the paint is peeling. But when you think barn, you're so right. There's that traditional color that we think of, and that setting, and it's so peaceful. It really does kind of bring a sense of serenity to you, just quite naturally. I love that. Now, when you sold your very first copy of this book, now I remember that you are a seasoned author. This is your second book. But when you sold your first copy of this book, Miss Joan, how did you feel in that moment? Were you just as excited for this first sale as you were for the very first sale of your book?
Yes, and I remember when it came in the mail to me, I grabbed it up and I said, "Did I really write this? Did I really do this?"
Oh my goodness. I love that. I love that. And I tell people that just because it's a different book, it doesn't mean that it isn't just as exciting. It could be, book 5. When you make that first sale, you are so excited to know that a book has sold. So I love that you had that experience as well. Now, when it comes to the overall message of the book, what is one thing that you want for a reader to make sure that they understand or that they pick up once they get to the very last page? When they are done reading this book, what do you want to make sure that they have understood?
That there is evil in the world, and that they better watch out for it. And a lot of times in this particular book, I had it was kept secret kind of until uh, till the families and all discovered. Well, and actually, it's a preacher's wife that her husband finally realized that there was something going on in her life that he did not know about, and he, well, can I say he cast out the demon?
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, this preacher's the preacher that's prominent in the Bible, in the book. Um, he didn't realize what was going on, and then when he really did see what was happening, he cast out this demon out of her.
Yeah, and I thank you for saying that. That might actually pique the interest of a lot of people. We are finding out through movies, through conversations, through documentaries that this is very much real. That casting out of demons is very much a real thing that has happened in history, and that it's nothing. It's not just something that you see in the movies, but that this has really happened, and that the people who have been relieved, who have been set free of this, are so glad that someone finally took them seriously. And applause to the pastors, the priests, the preachers who step up and who are able to do that, who have been called to do that. That really is needed. Our world is getting a little wonky nowadays, so this is a book that is right on time. Well, Miss Joan, I have enjoyed my conversation with you. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your book, Depart from Evil, with our listeners here today. Now, of course, we know that this book is available on Amazon and wherever books are sold, but you mentioned that you also have another book. Can you tell us what is the title of that book as well?
It's Daisy's Hope for Her Journey.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And